Good afternoon, it's Joyful Christian Hermit. Puppies got their baths and their haircuts. Mercy looks like a little Manchurian monkey. Mercy, wanna look? Wanna look up? Yeah, there you are. Here's Lovey. Wanna say hi? Yeah, you got the haircut. Got all clean. Here's little Mercy. So, hot day, but I've been out working on something. Had a situation come up from my tree cutters. They didn't grind the stumps, only part way. And then they piled up thick, over a foot thick, of bark, chips, wood chips, thinking that I wouldn't see them. So I've called 3 times to the tree cutters. Finally got through. He didn't want to pick up, but he did finally. I think he figured I would keep going. I never have gotten to talk to David, the owner, who I am so proud of him for starting his tree cutting business 6 years ago, but I'm not pleased. So I have been out over here. They didn't cut, I've already started taking the chips away. They mounted chips up over the stump. They did not do what I paid them to do. Also, my little Goldilocks is dying out here, so having some troubles. I might just take it back, see if I can get my money back for it. Dying, and like I said, once they start dying, you can't recover a conifer. I have no idea why it's dying there, but it's supposed to be able to take full sun. So but the dianthus are just doing great here. I need to get a taller stick for this one, for the purple one. It's really taller than my stake. So get out here and do some work. I may as well go ahead and get Flaky and this emerald Picea emerald. It's underneath there. Get these things in the ground, but not in the full sun. I'll do it more toward evening. Going to see if this is Laurel's little prayer phlox flower, and it hasn't ever gotten a bloom yet. Sometimes I think things are symbolic, but we'll see if that phlox does better up there than Laurel's. I hope Laurel's will come through. Come on, Mercy, let's go this way. I'm gonna go over and show this. I was very disappointed. I have run into 41 years of being a single woman and the troubles. Come on, Mercy, we're gonna walk over this way. With people not doing their jobs or trying to cheat, different things happen. And I was talking to the physical therapist about it at noon at my appointment, and he said he has had the same thing for his mother. She's deceased now, but he had to help her on several occasions where she was being cheated with different workers, different situations, and the son, he would intervene for his mother and get justice. And isn't that sad that that's the case? But I have fought my battles. God helps me. God helps me. So I went ahead and came out here. I'm not doing it in the heat right now. I had to take a rest. But I come out, I just bring a towel, put it around my neck just to catch all the sweat. Because it's hot out here. But I bring out my reciprocating saw. I've been going through the blades. There's my pile of blades. I've been using used blades, but it pretty much ruins them. They don't last long. I'll have to get some new blades. Trying to cut out these roots. But all under here, where my foot is, all this is stump under here. Stump. They were to grind the stumps out. So they didn't. They ground down a little and they stopped. All this is stump, all this. I can understand, I'm to get the roots, but all of this around here is stump. And over to here. Here, it's over here. Then another root starts right where my foot is, right here. But all this is stump. It's, just underneath the surface here. And all that they had piled over. All these chips they piled over the stump. Thinking that, oh well, she won't see. And they hauled away a lot of chips, but they didn't. Lovey, don't chew the chips. Don't chew the chips. It's danger for you. So, I was very disappointed. And on the other side, I haven't even really gotten down to where the stump, gotten all the wood chips pulled away. They're heavy. I was using my shovel and my pitchfork, my fork, and trying to get them out. And it's just sad that they would do that. And on the other side, I was taking a rest on my bed, and I saw two of them talking down there and messing with the chips. And I had a hunch maybe they were doing that. I didn't know for sure. And I thought, no, don't think negatively of them. They've always been so good. I was building them up. I'm so idealistic about people. And of course, I can't get a hold of David. He's the owner and the one that I worked with 6 years ago. And again, I think it was last year and about 3 years ago doing trimming. And I, 6 years ago, then got the subdivision to hire them, to use them for all the subdivision work, which they've had, plus people in the subdivision. Plus I got my neighbor to use them because they were so good. And they did a great job. See, I don't know if you can see, but over there, that maple tree over there in their yard, down beneath it, that was where their big willow tree stump was. They ground that down, and so that they could even plant their tree on it. But I can't do my planting till I get that stump out of there. I'm working on the roots. I did tell them I figured I'd have to cut the roots out. It would have been nice. They could have used their big strong bodies and cut those roots, but I'm out there with my little reciprocating saw trying to cut them out and dig them out. But over here, they did grind stump just up to here. So I was putting there's just big, maybe they did better over here. Let me feel around. I don't know. Yeah, I think they did better over here, up to here. Then we've got something going on up here. I don't know if it's stump or what. But the other side, they really didn't come through. I'll come out later and work on this. I think no, here it is. Yeah, right here. This is it. This is the stump right here. So part of the stump, they got part of it, and then they just didn't get the rest. So, I don't know. I'm disappointed. I paid to have the stumps, use the stump chipper on them. But so then I called last night, left a message, called again this morning, no answer, left more message, and I wanted to explain to them, to David, even about the way that these fellows that he has working for him did the scheduling. Not right. I was scheduled for June 5th, morning of June 5th, and I had to have my trees dug out that were in the way. So I had them dug out. They're still dug out. 2 weeks now. Nearly 2 weeks. So that was a Thursday, June 5th. They were to come, and he called and said that he had 3 men out sick. So he couldn't come, and said he would schedule me for the next Thursday. And I said, well, why, since I'm scheduled for today, and I've been waiting 3 weeks, shouldn't it be whatever day they come back. You do me. And then you just put everyone back a day, or however many days the guys are out sick. Well, that's the way you do something like that. But no. So I agreed. I said, oh, okay. I didn't want to argue, because he couldn't, I guess, mentally consider that that's the proper way to do it. Whoever was next in line, you just back everyone up behind that person. Whenever the next opening was, when his work crew was back, that's when I should have gone, had my trees cut down. But he said, I'll schedule you for the 12th, June 12th. June 12th came. I had one of my nudges of the Holy Spirit. Before 8 o'clock I called. Yeah, I just had this sense that they weren't going to come. Just had the nudge. Sure enough, oh, we don't have you down. I said, no, I'm to be down on June 12th. In fact, probably should have been before now. You've probably had your men back working before now. Probably didn't have a whole week they weren't working. So usually flu doesn't last a week long. But as well, as I said, you need to move whoever you have scheduled for today. I am today, and put them tomorrow, and then just move it on out. And I explained, I've got these rare trees dug out of the ground, irreplaceable trees. Been waiting a week, which shouldn't have even had to have waited a week. So he called back, well, we'll come at noon. He says, I've got another job in the morning. Well, I should have right then said, no, you come to me first, and the other job can wait. But no. I should have put my foot down. I already said no, it has to be today. But, so we did, they came at 12:30, or maybe it was 1 o'clock, and by 6 o'clock, well, I've got to get my men home for supper. They need to be home with their families. Well, I felt sorry for them, but no, and they were tired. They'd worked 1.5 jobs, but didn't do mine right, as it turns out. Decided they could get by with covering over with a foot of wood chips, and then not get the stump out. So I still can't do my planting, because they'll have to bring their big chipper in here. I asked them to come today. Oh, he can't come today, but maybe tomorrow. So we'll see if they come tomorrow. But I'm trying to get a hold of David, and you can't. I just get their answering machine with David's message on it. Leave your message. So I've left 3 messages. As I said, finally, this morning on the 3rd call, I let it just ring and ring and ring. And they could tell it was me calling back. Right away I called back. And they finally answered, and then that's what they said. They didn't argue, didn't say no, we didn't do it. But isn't that pathetic? And I was so proud of, I thought, what a great, he's built up his business. Yeah, he built it up with some bad workers, or whoever does the scheduling doesn't quite understand how to do it right. But I have found this all for 41 years since I've been a single woman, that you just get the shaft. And you have to fight. I'm tired of fighting for what should be just common decency. And my physical therapist, as I said, he says, yep, he says, that's how it is. He says, my mother ran into that when she was a widow. And I'd have to handle the situations for her, and they would immediately do right then. But I don't have someone. And sometimes I get sort of fussy with Jesus and say, I need you to handle these situations for me in person. Please appear and be here. Be here, because a man is needed. And women should be able to live in this world and hire things done. But that's why I no longer even bother with hiring people to help me do work with men. They do it wrong, or they overcharge, or lie. I found something else again that Thomas hadn't done right. found it yesterday upstairs that he hadn't done something right. I'm going to have to get help to get the door down. Maybe my grandson can lift it down. He didn't cut the holes for the door handles. 2 doors, but he put them up without the door handle. Like you're going to cut the holes with them up vertical. I don't think so. No. And he didn't cut them anyway. Even if he did put the door back up, he still didn't cut the handle, the door knob opening. So it just, they're expensive and they take advantage of women. And Jesus knew that. That's why he was always so good with women, sensitive to women, and had great empathy for women. But I need action. So I have told Jesus, please, I need help with this situation. And it's hard enough me, cutting out those roots, but I can do that. It'll just take me several days. And still waiting for the HOA guy to send me a nasty letter about, forget what it is he's going to get on my case about. Oh, probably the thing's not planted. That's what he's going to get on my case. But I'm going to try to get these little things in the ground today. I planted 3 things again last night, just bit by bit. I can get stuff done. But I worked this morning out there in the sun, and that's why I was resting, because that just wiped me out. I am 74, I remind myself, and with a chronic pain situation. But it's as well to push ourselves. Keep going, people, keep going. And I did try to use a pleasant voice. I wasn't so happy last night when I discovered what they had done. Little sneaks. Of all things, how pathetic, trying to hide that they didn't remove the stump. So that's life in the fast lane, isn't it? And you'd think, well, you shouldn't just do these things. And no, we shouldn't have to not do things just because men are going to cheat us, take advantage of a woman, and think, well, I can get by with it. It's just a woman. I can put her off. It's just a woman. So it's and the problem I think we have is people don't believe in God, they don't believe in heaven, and they don't believe there's a hell. So, there's no consequence for them in their minds. They're just home free. And just, do what they want and get away with it, they think. And they still might think they are. And if they don't come and do it, they don't realize, as much as I got them a lot of business, I'm going to take it away. I'm going to take it away if they don't get this right. Because they already have my money. I should have been out there with my pitchfork and my long blade trencher out there poking around before they left, but I was worn out. And I trusted them. I trusted them so much. So I will put on every site. I've done it before. I had a plumber, a guy who moved a gas line, charged me $1,000. 5 minutes. And what was I gonna do? I should have just refused. It was, you get to the point where you don't know what to do. And I had contracted for it. And then he gave me the bill. You gotta pay. Expect my money. Big slob. So and I went online and put all over every site I could get not to use that plumber. Well, but he called himself a plumber. A1 plumbing, right. F plumbing, failure. But yeah, it's that I do. That's our only recourse then. Better Business Bureau doesn't do anything. It has no teeth to it. And all you can do is go online and give bad reviews, loads of bad reviews, and keep it up, you know. That's the way. Hopefully you can do that. I mean, I can do that, and I can write them and get the stinger in, but depends then on if people read the reviews. So, and if anybody asks me, I'll say do not use them. They tried to pull a fast one. If they don't clean it up, if they don't do right, and it's too late for me to do a hold on the check with my bank. They've cashed it. So I trusted. And so, and even though, like next door, the neighbor's husband is very impotent. He's a very weak person. He never does anything. He never gets involved. And granted, he's older, but he's the type. She's the one in their family that handles things. But you know, they didn't do that to her. They did the job right with her because there's a man there. It doesn't matter if the man is even viable man, which is amazing. As long as there's a man in the household, they won't do it. They won't try to pull stuff. People. So it's just part of how our world is. And I think it's probably always been that way. Jesus knew it was. Jesus, well, you know, when the men tried to get the woman in adultery, they didn't care that the man had been in adultery. They just wanted to kill the woman. So Jesus handled that, and I think he'll handle this. I'm expecting them here tomorrow. If not, I'll be calling, and then at a certain point, I will tell them I'm not calling. I'm going to start writing my reviews and make sure that a lot of people know what you've done. That's how I'll have to deal with it. And I hate to do it. I hate to be in these battles. It's sad. But as I say, I hope they'll make good on it. Hope they'll come through. I'll get my little pitchfork here, my garden fork, and poke around over here and see. But that's life in the fast lane, and it's sad that these things happen, and not always. Doesn't always happen. It's just this took me by surprise because I really like these guys and praise them so. Too fast. Yep. Right here we go. Yep. Every time I hit hard, that soft there, they did up so far. Yep, right here. We got all this over here. All this over here is, and it's not root, it's stump. So it's something like this, then I'll do all this. I clear all this away so they can see, you know, all the things that they covered up. I'll get it all cleared out. But all the work I do, you know, then I start praying for them, and then you start doing work and offer the work for their souls. Because it's, this is the work of a Christian, is to pray for souls that are going to condemn themselves. It's not that they're going to lose business, at least some, from what I can write, if they don't make it correct, if they don't correct themselves. And I don't feel that I can ever really recommend them just for trying it, just for trying to get away with it. And the ridiculous wrong way of scheduling too, putting me off when I had my legitimate day that I had waited 3 weeks for. And they decided they were going to put others. There's my buddies over there. There's the guys over there, Bob and Mike. And thanks be to God, they haven't been messing with me it's been 2 weeks now since I had the letter that I just ignored. But, yeah, see, so it's just, yeah, oh, here. Oh, yeah, we got Stump right down under here. This is it. So I got to get this all shoveled out of the way. And, but I can't plant down there. See, they've got to get their big chipper. It's a big, huge machine that they'll bring in here. And they've got to chip all this. So, I hope they do. Hope they show. I'll be surprised, to tell you the truth. You know, once they have their money, they're gone, and they don't care. You know, that's the problem. This area is getting so populated. It's like it was in California, where there's so many people, you can't damage them enough, because there's always enough new people coming in that they'll just get their business then. People who don't bother looking at reviews, or they see the good reviews. They don't see the ones of the women who these guys have taken advantage of. So, just because they wanted to, he wanted probably some man said, no, you got to come here in the morning. Come here. So he was stacking in an extra job on the poor workers. The scheduler was. And if I can't get a hold of the owner to tell them what they're up to, they'll just keep doing it. The owner isn't going to care just as long as he gets business. And how many single women is he going to have that they're going to do something like this to? That's the problem. So you never really stop these creatures, these cretins, these slime balls that had been very nice men and very good, you know, when they're starting out. David had, but he's obviously has other people doing a lot of the work for him, so he hasn't kept tabs. He got successful and built up, and then he's sort of out of the picture. But yeah, all this here, it's all Stump under there, all of that. Hard. That is not ground down, not taken out, not ground down. This over here is a big chunk, but it's a root. And it's a huge root. But I'll work on it. But my little reciprocating saw cannot by any means take out a stump. So, just sick world. Sick people. Ugly people. Pulling a stunt like that. So, you know, whatever happens to them happens. Isn't it sad? You know, they'll pay. I don't want them to pay the consequences. But that's the world that we're in. So, yeah, over there's I'll show you how they got their stump ground out just a year ago. It's where they planted that maple tree over there. Nice. Could just dig a hole and stick it in. It's where a big stump was, and they got it ground out for them. So, mine, no. We'll see what happens. To be continued.